Journaling is one of the most powerful habits that you can have in your life. But when you want to start journaling, it's extremely hard. You open a journal, you have your pen, but you have no idea what to write. It's extremely hard. It's like pushing a boulder uphill. You feel like Sisyphus, right? And you have no idea what to write. I experienced this when I first started journaling about 8 years ago. And I can relate to this experience of having no idea what to write. So I wanted to share how I overcame this. The first thing that I did is that I committed myself to writing every single day. Every single day I said, you know what? I'm going to complete a full page of writing in this journal that I got. You need to have a journal first, right? Pick yourself up a journal and a pen and commit yourself to completing just one page every single day. That's what I did. And also, make it ritualistic. So choose a certain time of the day that you're going to do this every single day, and try to install this as a habit into your life that you're going to do every single day. We're just trying to overcome this boulder that's just standing between you and making journaling and writing a normal part of your life. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. We're just trying to push that boulder away, clear the path so that writing is natural for you. Okay, so make it ritualistic. What I did was that I took my journal and my pen down to the local cafe every single day at the same time in the morning. And I sat there and I decided I'm not going to leave until I've got one page completely written right here at this table. And I was living on this tropical resort island at the time called Hamilton Island, and thankfully I worked in a restaurant and I started at about 12 midday, so I had the mornings available, which was my time to complete this habit and really push this boulder, really clear the passage. And so I recall when I started this practice, I was there with my coffee and with my scone. Actually, I was ordering a bacon and egg bap at the time because that was delicious. But anyway, I was there with my coffee and bacon and egg bap and my empty journal page and my pen. And I remember it really felt like budging a rock. It just did not want to move. I could not write a single word. There was really this big block, mental block, stopping me from writing. What I did is I forced the words, even if they were bad. You just have to get words out onto the page. I remember being so judgmental of everything I wrote. Every word and every sentence that I completed on this page was so bad. Oh, that's just terribly written. What words are these? These suck. And even my handwriting was just so ugly at the time. And I was just judging myself left, right, and center. And because I had this negative reaction to every word that I wrote on the page, I was like, ugh, I hate this. This is cringe. But you really just have to push past that and just keep going and stay true to your commitment to complete that page of writing before you leave. Don't leave the seat, don't leave the table until you have completed your page of writing or whatever quota that you set for yourself. It might even just be 5 or 10 lines, but you have to commit to a certain amount every single day just so that you can make this a natural habit that's a part of your life. And so I did this day after day. I managed to get to the end of, page after page, and it was terrible. My writing was really stilted and ugly, and I didn't know what to write, okay? So let's talk about that next. You might be sitting there thinking, well, what do I actually write about? Your life experience there's infinite things to write about. But when you start, you haven't built the skill yet to see what there is to write about. So, the best way to start, I would say, this is how I started, was to just start describing your surroundings. And I know you might be thinking, well, I don't want to write to be like an author, or to write books, or to write short stories or poetry or anything like that. I just want to journal because it's a good habit to dissect what's happening in your mind and understand yourself on a deeper level. Absolutely, absolutely. But understand that what we're doing here is we're translating our direct experience of the world into words. So you need to first develop the physical mechanism by which you actually write a word onto paper. You translate something that's happening in your life experience into words, into a hand movement, into words on paper, right? It's a mechanism that you have to develop. That's the skill that we're developing first, right? Because once you've opened that door, once you've developed that skill, it's going to become much easier to dig into your own mind and your own life experience and dissect what's going on there and really turn it into words, right? But first we need to develop that mechanism. So the way that I did this, again, this is just my own experience and what worked for me. It might work for you, it might not. What I did was I just started to describe what was around me. So, I picked up my coffee and I drank my coffee and put it down. So I could just write that. And this is what I did. I just had a sip of my coffee. It was smooth or something, describing how the milk tasted. I would pick up my bacon and egg bap and have a bite of that and put it down, and I would say, this bacon is quite salty today, and damn, I just got some egg in my beard. That's annoying. I had to grab a napkin and wipe it away. This might sound really crude and a little bit stupid, but what we're doing here is we're just describing exactly what's happening in our direct surroundings. Again, to develop that mechanism of translating your life experience into words, but understand that it's a skill that goes very, very deep, where once you are practiced with this, you can really dig into your mind and start to understand what's going on there and turn it into words. So another thing, just look around you. I recommend doing this in public, because in public, there is so much to write about and there is so much to describe, and it's a really great canvas from which you can draw from and write about. So for me, I was, at this cafe by the seaside, and a seagull came and sat on my table. So I would write about the seagull. This seagull has just come and perched on the edge of this table, and he's watching me, his head tilted. He wants some of my bacon and egg bap. You know what I mean? You're just starting to describe things, and this is a really great way to just become a writer. You're just describing things, description. And again, you just have to allow it to be bad, allow yourself to just write whatever comes forward, and try not to judge the ugliness of your handwriting, which is what I did. Try not to judge the staleness or the rigidity of your words or your sentences, and really commit day after day to showing up and completing your quota. And a few years later, a few months later, a few weeks later, you're going to be a writer. You're going to have journaling as something that is part of your life. And this is a really, really deeply it's a beautiful habit, and it's one of those practices and one of those habits that once it's a part of your life, it's almost like you can't live without it. I can't live without journaling now. I will go completely insane. I really will. And journaling is such a part of my life, and writing in cafes, journaling in cafes is still a ritual of mine, and this is one of my favorite hobbies. Whereas when I first started with it, it was so painful. It was so hard, like Sisyphus pushing a boulder up the hill. But unlike Sisyphus, what's going to happen is we're going to get to the top of the hill, and the boulder is going to roll all the way down, and then you'll have this vast landscape that you will get to explore. And it won't be like pushing a boulder up the hill, because you will have developed that mechanism that I was talking about of translating your life experience into words. And you might have this beautiful ritual to boot, right? Something that you can enjoy doing. Okay, so that's how you can get started actually journaling. I really hope that this helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'm happy to make more videos about journaling, because it's one of my all-time favorite hobbies, and it's something I've been doing for a while, and I just love writing. I love journaling, and I really want to help you have the same kind of joy in your life. So don't forget, the journey has only just begun, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.